my 2025 TBR. I almost said 2024 there. This is a rough TBR because I'm such a mid-reader. So this could change, and this is a variation of audio and physical. But I'm going to try and start with the physical and see if I can get through all of these. And I had on my TBR the rest of Mair Alys. That might change, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I've read Gardens of the Moon, so you can check out my review there. I'm looking forward to starting Mair Alys. I was going to do the main series, the 10 books, okay? I know there's like another reading order. I might do that reading order. I haven't decided yet. Let me know what you think, because everybody says there's to do it different ways. I don't know. I might just go to the whole, let's just do publication order. Go from there. That was on my TBR. And the reason why that may or may not be completed is because currently I'm reading Winter Truth, and now I've decided to binge the whole Cosmere next year. Just reread some of them, read books I haven't read, because some of them I haven't read. And some of the references that appeared in, like, when I read The Lost Metal, I was like, who the fuck are these characters? And I'm messaging my friend who's read the Cosmere, and he's like, oh, I think they're from here and here and here. I was like, great, I've not read them. So there is that. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to start with Elantris, which I originally did DNF. I was bored, did the audio, but I had to pay back on order from my lovely friends at Hardy's Books Bookshop, Station Books. Hopefully the physical, I will be able to like it a bit better. For Elantris, I'm really going to reread Warbreaker, and then go for the Mist On series, and then there's one sci-fi series that's in the Cosmere, Emperor's Soul, I know is in the Cosmere, some of the short stories. I'm just going to binge the Cosmere. That might just take up all of my reading time. Because it's a lot. Because I already know from the end of reading Winter Truth, I'm going to want to immediately dive back into Oath Kings. I just know I will, but I'll probably end up doing that on audio, so that should be fine. But Winter Truth. Next on my list, there's an arc that I've requested, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get it because I don't know. I got the other two, so, and I've also met the publicist at Worldcon, and she was lovely. Which is The Sorrow and the Sea, which is the third book in the Nightingale trilogy by Stephen Ariane that's coming out in May. So, fingers crossed. I have requested the physical arc. I don't know if I'm going to get the physical, but I'm pretty sure I'll get the net galley if I didn't. And I might buddy read that with a friend, because we have both been losing our absolute minds over this series, because the fucking camels, man. Then I also have on my list... This is getting out of hand. This might change to audio, because I did get the audio arc for this, but obviously I can't access it anymore, which is The Silverblood Promise by James Logan, because the Blackfire Blade is coming out later this year. Next year, like the end of next year, like October. So that might happen. Possibly. I don't know. It depends if I get an arc of Blackfire Blade. That is probably one of the ones that may or may not change, because again, the Cosmere and Mair Alys at the same time, and also I'm tempted to reread The Realm of the Elderlings. Like, who am I? Next, I also want to read all three of these, because I've read The Grace of Kings. So it's Wall of Storms, The Veiled Throne, and Speaking Bones. The Grace of Kings took over my life when I read it. I have a vlog about it. I've heard obviously book 2, the series just gets better. So these are on my TBR, and I cannot do these via audio because for some fucking reason this isn't available in audio in the UK. I think The Grace and Kings is coming to be, but this specifically isn't, and I'm annoyed. But I love this. I love The Grace of Kings so much. So yeah, you know. Along with that is going to be the Dragonbone Chat. This is a thick 'un. I tried the audio on this, couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. Something wasn't clicking. So I might tandem read this one. But I did like some of it. I did like Simon in this. I know a lot of people don't like Simon, but I actually relate a lot to him. Like, is he autistic coded? I don't know. Is it just some traits? I don't know. We will find out. But Dragonbone chair. Am I going to read The Stone of Farewell? Depends entirely on what I'm doing, my mood, and how good this book is. But speaking of big books, Inheritance and Murtagh. Oh, if you say Murtagh, I know I just did, but ignore that. Murtagh. Because I did a reread of the rest of these books this year. I refuse to do audio on this because it's terrible. Oh my god, like horrid, just horrid. But Eragon is my life and my heart and my love. It's literally the second book series I ever read. Like, my introduction was Harry Potter, straight to Eragon. Like, you know. So, and then also I have to read Murtagh because it's Eragon, it's dragons. So there are another load of thick books I'm also reading this year, next year. Is it gonna work? I don't know. I also have A Day of Shattered Faith, which again I have on order, even though I do technically already have the arc. I don't know. It entirely depends if I need, because I found House of Open Wounds a little bit of a comfort for me, because I was going through a really, really tough time when I read it, and it's very found family, and I just needed that right now. That I may end up reading that, depending on how broken I am after Winter Truth. Like, how much is Winter Truth going to destroy me? Entirely depends. I have so many books everywhere, it's insane. But also on next year is Land of Living and the Dead. Yes, I have an arc of this. I just haven't had time to read it. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing this on audio, but I have it on my physical. It may potentially be audio. I don't know. If you support women's wrongs, you will love this series. Irish mythology, two badass women, an incredible methodical magic system. So much you could like about this series. I'm debating whether or not just to reread the whole lot, because I don't think there's a recap, but I can also, because she follows me on Instagram and I have Meta Black. Shauna, where's the recap? Can you give me a recap? No, there isn't a recap. That was seriously annoying because my alarm just went off and cut off the video, which is telling me I've got 10 minutes to leave for work. So, but anyway, Land of the Living and the Dead, it's on my physical TBR. So, on my physical TBR is going to be the Darkness That Comes Before, because I tried doing this on audio, couldn't do it because this gives me Malazan vibes, and potentially book 2. So I don't know. I was enjoying book 1, especially, like, I did a little bit of research into Ascot Baker. I want to say Barker, but it's not, it's Baker. I did a little bit of research into it, and most of the stuff that he's doing in this book, from my understanding, is he's writing a critique on how men have written women and that kind of thing. So, like, when you first read it, you're like, what is happening? This woman is like a prostitute and all this kind of stuff. But it's like a critique, and I wonder if I kept reading if it would really come across like that. So I'm kind of curious on that. So I am going to read it. This is already a big list, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to manage it, and I still have more to add. I'm also tempted to reread The Faithful and the Fallen by John Green, because I've been pestering a couple of friends on Instagram to read it, and they said they're going to read it in 2025, so I might just join them. But there's also Catch Up Book Club that's happening as well, which I'm either just going to join for the live shows and just chat about it, because I've read it so many times, or I'm just going to read it. I don't know. I might even read it straight after Winter Truth, because it depends how destroyed I am by Winter Truth and how long Winter Truth takes me to read. Because it's a thick book, and work has taken over my life. So there's the physical books I am going to read. Now I'm going to move on to the audiobooks. Strength and the Few is coming out next year. We have a rough date in May, okay? I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to pre-order the audio. I'm going to probably reread The Will of the Many, and then I'm going to continually do that and read them both together until I can calm down. So That's possibly on my TBR. Possibly. We will see. Possibly. But also, there's The Devils by Joe Abercrombie, and I've yet to be approved from the ARC on NetGalley, which, no, I'm not sad. Yes, I am. But then, there's also The Testimony of Blood, which is coming out, which is Rockwood Payne's second book. First book is right here. This is incredible. This is like a standout book that I read this year, and I will probably reread it and probably take it a little bit slower, just to really absorb the story a little bit better, especially on the second time round, and then I can jump into book 2 by Rockwood Payne, and hopefully, because I'm trying to see if I can go to Glance Fest this year, which will be around May. Hopefully book 2 will be there and Roper will be there, and then we can meet again, because he's just the nicest guy. He's just the nicest guy that I've just met. So, you know, that would be super cool. But who knows? That's what I'm hoping. That will probably be on audio, because my physical TBR is getting too long already. Because that's a lot of books. You're lucky if I get one book physically read a month, let alone what I've decided to include. Yes, I know, it's insane. I also have The Art of Destiny and A Song of Legends Lost, which is coming out next year, which a friend of mine read the prologue. She did like a prologue thing at the beginning of, I think it was FantasyCon, something like that. And she said it's amazing, you had to pre-order it. So I pre-ordered the audio for it. I've also pre-ordered The Outcast Mage, which comes out in January. And that sounds pretty cool. So I was like, yeah, let's just go. Another one that is definitely going to be on my TBR for next year is going to be The Damned King by Justin Lee Anderson, because, oh my god, the first 2 books in this series is fucking incredible. I lost my mind. Like, the layers in this series, like, you think, oh, just surface level, like, oh, it's this. Then book 2 comes around, like, hang on a minute. There's complications, the magic system, but this and the memory drive, and this is how this, what's going on, and it's just layers and layers and layers. There's conflicts after conflicts, and it all works together, and it all works perfectly well, and I am here for it. I'm just here for it. I technically also have 3 Blood and Dragons on my TBR. I don't know much about it, except that it's in my audio TBR and it has dragons on it. And also, I do have Sky on Fire, because while I do own the Inkstone copy, which is all the way over there and I'm too lazy to go pick it up, is, you know, I'm trying to cut down on my physical TBR because it's getting a little bit overwhelming. So I'm trying to cut it down, and I do that by buying really nice books and then reading it on audio. So watch me hate it and then regret I bought the Inkstone copy. I don't know, it is pretty pretty, but I wasn't really a massive fan of The Ruin of the Kings, and I want to try book 2 in that series first before I kind of decide if I'm going to continue with that series or not, because I don't know if it's going to be for me. There is a physical book I forgot to mention. There's a couple actually, which is Johnny Works. I'm probably going to tandem read this, but a friend of mine said it's probably not when I do an audio, even though I already have the audio. So I'm probably going to do this one. Also, a client's dad gave me this and said, you might like it, because we were talking about books the other day, and he loves sci-fi and he knows banks. So he gave me a copy. I was like, cool. I kind of am going to have to read it pretty soon and then be like, talk to him about it, because it's like, who gives people copies of books? Like, I just love that. Like, if you want to give me anything, like a client, was it just books, would be the way to go. But The Expanse did put me in a massive sci-fi slump. Maybe this will get me out of it. I don't know. And then I did also actually have these two on my physical list. These are really, really short. Ross from Hardy's Books raves over this writing book, so I had to buy it, which is Ursula K. Le Guin, Asteria and the Craft. You probably can't read it because, I mean, the cover's pretty cool, but I don't know if it kind of translates on screen. And then Charlie would have literally throttled me from Charlie Reed's book if I didn't buy Piranesi. and I adored Jonathan Strange and Miss Morale this year, so I kind of had to. Another one that is definitely, like, these two are definitely going to be on my audio TBR that I've already pre-ordered, is A Drop in a Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett, which is book 2 of the Tainted Cup series. I adored the Tainted Cup. That is exactly what I want in a mystery. Loved everything, love the magic system. I'm one of the people who doesn't try to figure things out because I'm just here for the story. It's one of those kind of books that I kind of pick up when I just want to be there for the story. I don't want to think. And this is one of those books, which was just incredible. And also The Tainted Khan by Tara Matharu is coming out next year, which is book 2 to Dragon Rider. And I have a suspicion that this book is gonna rack it up from book 1. Would I reread book 1? Possibly. There's so many that is actually potentially on my TBR. I have already mentioned this, but I have actually put Stormlight Archive already back on my TBR for next year. It's one of those series that I just read every year. To be fair, there was one year I read it twice in a year. Yeah. Call me obsessed. Okay, so this definitely is going to be on my audio TBR. Is going to be Blood Over Brighthaven, because I've heard so many good things about it, and I have pre-ordered the Broken Binding edition. So that's definitely going to be on the TBR. There's a couple of others. There's like Master Jin, Among Thieves, Shorefall, which is book 2 in Fantasy, because I kind of want to get through a couple of series that I haven't finished, which brings me to the Emperor Burning Blade and Silver Eye trilogy. I've read book 1 and really enjoyed it. Why I haven't gone to book 2 and 3, I don't know. Stuff like that. Source of Comes Cruel, Unrelenting Earth, which again is 5 Years Ago stuff. Gog Magog sounds really kind of cool, and book 2 of that comes out next year. So I'm probably going to end up reading that. There's Warm Hand of Ghosts, because I kind of do want to try Catherine Arden again, because I didn't like the Nightingale series. I do have Dungeon Crawler Card 2 on here, because there's going to be some point next year where I'm just going to want... I don't really call it comfort, it's kind of just like I've been in the right mood for Dungeon Crawler Card, and that's where I'm just kind of like, I don't want to think about anything, so Dungeon Crawler Card comes out and it's just there for a fun time. I'm probably going to read The Bright Sword on audio. I've heard a couple of people rave about it, so we will see. I do also have Defiant by Brandon Sanderson on my audio TBR. Don't know if I'm going to end up getting to it. There's so many books I've now put on my TBR list that I'm just kind of like, do I? Already, and it's not even 2025. But I'm going to leave it there because it always changes. That's my rough TBR for 2025, and I'm drowning in books. So watch me read multiple of these via audio that I physically originally said that I'd read physically. Like, for example, I know I never mentioned this, but I have the audio of this, and I did the whole series on audio, but I also have the whole series in these trade paperbacks, because I love the floppy trade paperbacks, and I know we don't do them often over here, and I just adore them. So that's probably going to be one, and it is the last book in the series. So that's what's going to happen. There's so many other ones that I just need to read, and I need to go to work. So that is my rough TBR for 2025. If you want me to read anything specifically, put it down below. If you want to join me in a read along, let me know. I'll happily organise one. And let me know what you're planning to read for 2025, because it is only around the corner, and if that doesn't terrify you, well, are you human? But have a fantastic time reading. I'm going to go to work and longingly stare at Wind and Truth, hoping people won't notice as I start reading. No, that's not going to work. They'll notice, but maybe not. But have a fantastic time reading, and I will see you in the next one.